Welcome back to the Racial Draft Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Terrell Ford III. Not joined by my irregular co-host, Marquis, but I am joined by the front runner in the Racial Draft, Kia Bernstein. Say what's up.
Say my name one more time, Mike. Say my name. That's right. I'm here. You can find me at Kia Bism on Instagram or Kia Bism on Twitter. What? Kibizm. Find me.
Right.
You want to know what winning looks like.
104 people. It's a lot of crowing. It's 2 weeks in a row that Kia has been the top scorer in our Racial Draft Fantasy Comics League, promoted league of division of scoring, if you will. And once again, the top scorer. I guess it was a tie for the top scorer, but I'll give you the nod since your team was the top scorer. Who was the top scorer again, Kia?
Wonder Woman.
Yet again, women, feminine energy.
That's
Power,
right.
and also tied with Wonder Woman with whopping 27 points was Batman, who a lot of people figure to be one of the favorites for the top draft pick. But unlike Batman, who was the number 4 pick, Wonder Woman was the number 16 pick. So that's a lot of value there, I think. But, before we jump into sort of like the team by team, player by player, do you have any overall thoughts on your performance this week?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like the same performance I bring to any situation, quote unquote. I just, I serve it up good, give it really good, back it up really good. Oh, I mean, yes. I definitely, I bring it. I'm just saying. And I'm single.
Okay. All right, you heard it here first, fellas. Well, probably not first, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so the number 1 team with 75 points was the multiracial team. The number 2 team this week, it was actually a tie for second between early season favorites, the Asian delegation and Latinx delegation. They both had 60 points. Do you want to talk trash on the Asian and Latinx teams?
Well, the Asian team, I always thought that they had a good team. I'll be honest. Before this all came out that I was a winner. I really did think that the Asian team was going to be in first place because I thought they had the best team aside from the Jewish team, of course. But with the Latin team and the Asian team, I can see how they are neck and neck. And I kind of like watching the competition between those two for second place.
It is going to be a very close and tight competition. Hopefully not just for second place. I know you like having a big lead right now, but
Yeah, only 53 points. I mean, last week it was only 42 points. Now it's a 53-point lead. I don't know.
So your lead is growing, is what you're saying. Your lead is growing.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
All right. Well, like I said, from a competitive perspective, as just an observer, I'd like to see maybe some more competition. We can't have you on every week talking trash on the teams as much as you.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna get pretty boring. I mean, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what's happening with the racial draft? Oh, she's still winning. Oh, she's still winning. Oh, okay."
I mean, it just goes to show about the future is multiracial. That's what they always say.
That is one. Oh my God, is that my new slogan? Oh.
You're a post-racial. You're a post-racial.
Yeah. Welcome to the New World Order.
Multiracial New World Order. And yeah, after that, surprising us was the white delegation.
I know.
He gave us 32 points, led by Flash and Wiccan. They were the 2 top scorers. Oh yeah, I should have gone back. Batman, who was the top scorer for the Asian delegation, and the 3 top scorers for the Latinx team were Superman, Wolverine, and Doctor Strange. So basically, their first 3 draft picks finally came to play. So good on them. But as for the white delegation, their number 1 pick and their number, I think, 7 pick, maybe even far down as 10. Oh, speaking of the white delegation, we are joined by the captain of the white delegation / Fantasy Comics League guru, Shaun Martineau. Say what's up to the people.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. We were just talking about your, I guess we'll say third place finish, since we had 2 teams tie for second.
Yeah, third place feels pretty good.
Top of the second tier.
Who else is here?
It's just Kia, the front runner.
Of course.
In our usual.
I'm doing good. Shaun, the more I talk to you, the more I like you. I mean, not saying I didn't like you before. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. You put a smile on my face. Happy you're here.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's taking off your white delegation hat for a second. From Fantasy Comics League guru position, what are your overall thoughts about how this week turned out?
I mean, I don't know if I can take my white delegation hat off because I emerged as the king of the peasants. Which I knew I would, I'm the one to beat. But, I mean, it was nice. I was surprised there was a tie. I didn't think we'd have a tie right off the bat. We had 2 ties.
Yeah, we did. I guess that's what happens when we don't have fractional scoring. But, we'll figure some things out. If we end up coming down to the wire where a tie is a possibility, we may have to figure out some tiebreakers.
Okay, we've come up with 2 types of ties. One that could be decided by best character.
Okay.
So, like, if you had a team of 4, right? Your best character, if my Spider-Man had 18 and your Daredevil had 17, I win.
Interesting.
And then one time it came down to the 4th character. The 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd on the teams were all tied.
Mm-hmm.
That happened once. That was crazy. But then I think, like, the final 2 characters, like, one character didn't show up and the other one got, like, 2 points.
One thing I was thinking about, and maybe we can get a sense of it, because generally you guys' teams are smaller, right? In Fantasy Comics League. But because we have 12 rounds, I was thinking about doing the tiebreaker based on the latest draft pick.
No,
I don't mean the latest. I don't mean draft order. I mean the highest scoring low draft pick. So, for instance,
so instead of eliminating, so we would go for the highest, you would go for the lowest. Who had the highest, lowest score?
Well, no. What I mean is, for instance, Kia scored 16 points with Deadpool, who was her 11th round pick. So instead of going pure highest scorer, it's the highest scorer from the bottom rounds, and maybe we do like 10th round or above.
Okay, I feel like if you're gonna do that, you have to do it with the caveat that it's not a poll character.
Whoa, I don't like that either.
Say in picking.
Yeah, but remember,
the exception of Deadpool, because it was all Deadpool.
Yeah, but the 12th round was all polls.
Yeah, so, but that's not a character you pick for yourself. I feel like if you're going to make them lose based on a character or win based on a character, it should be a character they themselves chose.
Well, I did choose, and the only reason why, time out, Shaun. I want to point out right now, I chose Deadpool, and I had the first pick of that round. The only reason why I had to do a poll to save Deadpool was because she wanted to come on here and have her poll, and she was going to be the only one with the poll, and I was like, oh crap, so S could not wait until the next round to have her say and have her, like, her double back. She wanted to kind of take my week as well, and I wasn't having that.
Okay, I mean, if you want to count Deadpool as your character, that'd be great. But like, if it came down to me and Alex Wilder or Jamie Reyes, I would like Jamie Reyes to be the one that decided my fate because I never wanted Alex Wilder. It was a stupid decision. I was pressured into making a fourth pick. I would be pissed if I lost because of Alex Wilder twice.
I mean, that's fair, but Jamie Reyes. I mean, we could make it, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, which Jamie Reyes would be eligible because he was your 9th round pick.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting way of doing it. I think it would be interesting to see. That would be my only concern, really.
Yeah, because
we could just go with our second draft picks. Period.
Of course. We're looking through these late rounds. There was a lot of talent. There was a lot of talent in the late rounds. There was Cyclops, Hal Jordan, Deadpool, and Mrs. Sinister for the multiracial team. There was Carnage, Silver Banshee, Hawkeye, and Elektra. I mean, not mega powers, but still, still big names. You had Valkyrie, Daredevil, Kitty Pryde, and Sunspot. I mean, Daredevil is a pretty solid.
Kitty Pryde's still dead, right?
Kitty Pryde's still dead.
I think Daredevil is going to be his best character. So his best character coming so late in the draft would be good for him.
Sorry, we're talking about the Polynesian team.
Yeah, top two.
Storm. I think there'll be a lot of Storm scoring. But and then for the Asian team, it was Nightwing, Johnny Storm, Winter Soldier. Sorry, it was Johnny Storm, Winter Soldier, Silk, and Juggernaut. Those are some solid.
Juggernaut, isn't Juggernaut something coming out with Juggernaut? I thought I saw something coming out with Juggernaut.
Yeah, he's getting his own comic, which is a weird choice at this time.
I mean, hopefully it comes out while we're still scoring. It would be awful. It comes out the week after we end.
I only keeping my fingers crossed.
Look, the Jewish team had Zatanna, Starfire, Apocalypse, and Supergirl. Those are big players.
Yeah, Supergirl might actually be a really good one for them, right?
I was thinking Apocalypse is going to be their best of those four.
Yeah, and the Black Delegation, they do it. But
they have to be judged by Goku. Like Goku, that's the tiebreaker. If there is one, it's got to be Goku.
I agree with Shaun on this one.
Here's the thing. Reverse Flash is their final pick. And as of now, it is their second highest scoring pick.
Reverse Flash is getting some street cred right there. I'll have to admit
you stole my fucking book.
That's right.
Fuck you, Reverse Flash. I wish I had, every draft I made this round, I was just like, I wish I had looked at it a little harder. But because Blade didn't appear in anything, I could have got Dr. Voodoo instead, and then Flash, I had him at 8 appearances or something like that, but 4 of them are Reverse Flash.
That's the thing, and we talked about this before. I love the idea, of the reimaginings, the idea of regular Flash being white and Reverse Flash being black, and that being a big part of his motivation to just completely destroy his life and the timeline. In this particular political climate, I love it. Reverse Flash.
I like that we've got Flash and Reverse Flash and Reed and Doom. We got the two big.
Right, you got those rivalries.
They're so similar, yet all they want to do is destroy each other.
Yeah, and in the case of Doom, the people generally root for Doom over Reed. I would say in the case of Flash, people really hate Reverse Flash, but they respect him.
Right now in the storyline, isn't Reverse Flash kind of going back in time and just killing everybody so they don't have offspring?
No. I mean, I joked about that, but actually, right now he's taking over the Flash's body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's even better.
That is even better. That's even worse, If he's killing off Hero's parents, I'd be like, oh, look, Barry's the guy saving the day right now. But no, it's literally him and Barry's body.
So wait, do you get points for that?
No, he gets the points for that. I would, if Barry shows up in the Speed Force or something, I'd get a point for that.
I mean, maybe you guys should both get points for that.
It's
I
really,
mean, he is using the Flash's body.
but they have the same powers.
Yeah, but like, everybody only knows it's Reverse Flash on the inside, but really, is it the outside that counts?
But it's the readers that know. The readers know the whole story. I mean,
That's
there
true.
would be an argument if there was a whole bunch of issues of the Flash acting out of character, but we didn't know why, and then it was a late issue reveal, after like 3 or 4 issues, finding out, aha, Reverse Flash was in control the whole time. That's maybe an argument for both people scoring. But if we know at the outset, and we know that Reverse Flash is the one that's driving the plot, so
Okay.
so that could be the steal of the draft. Well, steal of the Black Delegation draft.
Yeah.
I tried for you, Shaun. I tried for you.
That's okay.
The Latinx delegation, I would say their final 4 picks were somewhat on the weak side. Death, Aquaman, Kyle Rayner, and Jane Foster. If Jane Foster's book doesn't come back anytime soon, we probably won't see her. And surprised Aquaman was lacking in the Justice League. I guess there's no use for Aquaman in space. Is that what they're saying?
What are you gonna do? Talk to a space fish?
I mean, look, they made storm control, solar flares, solar storms. Like,
Man, imagine Aquaman showing up on like a giant fucking space whale and like some event. That would be crazy.
Has Aquaman done anything?
Not so far. He gave them 2 points in the first week, but he hasn't done much in week 2. But he still has his own solo book, so that should be coming out sometime in the next couple of weeks. I think that the ceiling for the Latinx team is still high because they've got guys rack up a lot. I mean, like I said, their top 3 picks all put up double digits, and there's still Thor, Black Panther, Shazam, Sue Storm. Got to watch your back a little bit.
Yeah, well, Jason Momoa can still get it.
But apparently in their recasting, it's whoever the Latino version of Jason Momoa would be. I forgot who they're.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I malfunctioned when you said that.
He looked like the guy on The Boys. You know the Aquaman guy character on The Boys?
Yes, but I don't remember the actor's name.
The guy who plays that is Chase Crawford. Their guy, I don't know his name, but he looks just like him, except not white.
So in a way, their casting was perfect because the deep on The Boys is just the Aquaman analog, and he looks like the Latinx, Latino Aquaman.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was staring at Jason Momoa's picture. What were you saying?
I do understand that. I do understand. But yeah, so let's see. So we were talking about the white delegation finishing tied for 3rd or 4th, depending on how you want to imagine it. And then after that, it was a little bit of a crunch. There was a tie between the Native American and the Jewish teams, with the highest score on the Native American team being, unsurprisingly, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, with 8 points, 8 of his 11 points.
The Crow still hasn't brought in any points?
Very quiet season out of the Crow so far.
To eat.
Shaun, would you like to talk about the fake out in this week's issue of the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, fuck Dan Slott. I mean, that's all I got to say. Like, I'm not a big fan of the guy's writing, but that fake out, I was just like, it was nice that they didn't use a ton of powers. I wasn't tracking a ton of stuff. But then you get to the end of the issue and it's like, wasn't even them. And I'm like, cool. Always love these.
I think
they did one once in an X-Men comic where there was something like 27 characters. And then at the end, it turned out it was all in the character's head and that nothing had happened. And I had 4 powers for each of the 20 characters. And I was just like, who was that?
Wait, so
I want to say that was Jeff Lemire, and I had never been so pissed at a writer before.
As a result of psychological manipulation, nobody scores?
I mean, the main character scores and the villain scores, but like, if Cyclops used optics 6 times, right, and it's all in the character's head, Cyclops wasn't there, didn't use any optics.
Interesting.
So
Oh,
while I'm stacking all these
that
optics
hurts
and
me.
making sure that I can stack them generic, defensive, offensive, figure out how that's working, it doesn't matter. It's like 15 minutes of my time. It's just gone.
Yeah,
You can't get back.
It would be kind of cool if it was a telepath, like someone like Emma Frost who made it happen. If she
Did anybody pick Emma Frost?
yes, Emma Frost is an Asian delegation. But so
Oh.
what if a telepath makes it all happen? It's the telepath that is revealed to be the cause of it, gets all the points from everything that happened in the illusion.
How does a telepath make something inside your head happen for real? Because that's just telepathy.
No, but the telepath who has the ability to make you see what's not there is making them see all of these things play out.
Again, like, that would be a deception. Like, to get an optics point, if the telepath was to get the optics point, she would have to somehow shoot or produce the optics herself. Because otherwise it's just imaginary. So it's all deception at that point.
You're saying that the thing didn't actually happen, so it shouldn't actually count. And I
Yeah.
guess because it happens in the panel, it happened in the panel. But
how dare you use my argument against me? You know how many times this week we went back and forth and I was like, it happened in the panel. It happened.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there as something to argue for, just to make the telepath more powerful. You know, especially like if you're, who's another one that's good with illusions? Mastermind. You know.
I don't know enough about Mastermind is Jason Wingard, right? Like, I don't know enough about Mastermind to even know what his power sets is. Like, I'll start giving him points when he starts doing things.
I feel like
Emma burn
is most likely, like, of the telepaths, she's the one who tends to use her power in a way that makes people see things that aren't there. And
who are you saying, Emma?
Yeah, Emma. And you know, and people tend to have extensive interactions. Remember the issue of Uncanny X-Men a few months back, where it was Cyclops having an extended exchange with Captain America, and I think we found out like 2 issues later that it was actually Emma Frost who created the Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things like that.
I feel like the best you could argue for is creature. If Emma Frost takes the form of Captain America to commit something, she's essentially using, I mean, it's not a creature ability though, but it is the closest I could think of. She's using another character as a creature mentally.
So, I mean, I guess, so the argument for Mystique, though, Mystique actually gets their abilities when she shapeshifts, right? So she could actually get all the points.
Yeah, she could get the Cyclops, like, she could get the optics offensive, everything. Like, I like it when Mystique shows up more than I like it when somebody is revealed to have been manipulating things mentally.
Right.
Because then at least Mystique is a physical character you can track and give points for, and it doesn't all feel like a waste.
I feel you. But anyway,
yeah, I definitely don't think Mystique is a waste at all.
For those of you who may not have been following this week's comics very closely, there was an issue of the Fantastic Four which teased on the cover the return of the new Fantastic Four, which was composed of Wolverine, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, and the Hulk. And, you know, those are 4 extremely popular characters. Those are 4 characters that were drafted in our racial draft. 2 by the actual, by the native team. 3 by the native team. So that could have been huge for the native team. I didn't even realize that the new Fantastic Four is almost all native. But but it turns out that in the actual book, spoiler alert, that 2 of them, Ghost Rider and the Hulk, were actually created by Image Inducer, hologram. So not actually the Hulk or Ghost Rider. And the characters that were actually doing the thing were not drafted characters. So wah fail horn for this week. And for anyone who was
no points,
happened to be scoring panel by panel, who had to delete, right, Shaun?
Yeah.
For the record, do you happen to remember how many points they were before you had to take them away?
I think I had Hulk was for sure a punch and a durability, and I think I had Ghost Rider with chains and flames.
Okay, so only
He wasn't doing anything, so I was just trying to give him intimidation points.
right. He had
flames.
Pen and Stare. Now, Pen and Stare, does that count as what does that count as under the scoring system? Does that create a KO?
That's a good question. I don't remember. Pen and Stare has not come up in so long.
Right.
Let me think. I gotta look at the powers.
I would argue for creative KO, since we rarely use those.
See, that is why I wouldn't argue for it, because most characters. Because remember, on the Fantasy Comic League back end, which is something I'm working on, Brian limits it to 15 powers a character. It's not something I'm doing for DC because it doesn't suit our purposes. We got to discuss all the powers.
Right.
So maybe creative KO, but I'm feeling like there's some demonic.
I suppose. I guess I feel like because it's unique to him and not shared with all demonic characters, it feels more personal. But I get you. I mean, plus he's Ghost Rider. He should get demonic for everything he does, not just Stare.
There's probably another one that we stack it with, but I just can't think right now.
Creative KO should come up more. That's a big part of comics. So, what other teams? Oh, bringing up the rear are the two teams who were battling it out for the bottom. That was the Polynesian team and the black team. They had 7 and 5 points respectively. The 5 points from the black team came from Joker, and the 7 points came from Storm, Scarlet Witch, and America Chavez.
Oh yeah, because she showed up. Yeah. I was actually okay. So in our database, because we add characters like every week, we probably add about 3 to 5 characters to the database because we're now tracking them because it's their first appearance in 2020, or they hit the threshold of what we consider worth tracking. We add characters every week. Kate Bishop, my favorite Marvel character, was not in our database, so I added it and I highlighted it in purple the day before this comic came out. I predicted her first 2020 appearance.
That's cool, but you didn't predict the context for it yet.
No, I sure did not. It was a pretty cool context, though. I mean, you know how nice it is to have a cliffhanger that's somebody getting married instead of somebody dying?
Is it a cliffhanger, though? It was a flashback.
The way in which it's presented in the story context, I would say, yes, it is a cliffhanger because it is something I very much want to see.
Right.
And we're likely probably not going to see. It's probably going to be, I think the Empire Fallout Avengers is the wedding.
Right. So they're doing the one shot of the wedding, basically a wedding issue that also ties into an event, which might be good for the sales. And since we know that nobody died at the wedding, we don't have to worry about the wedding somehow getting overturned like other weddings that have happened in the past 12 months. Now, obviously weddings count as character developments. Does getting left at the altar also count as a character?
Yeah. If you're in a wedding situation, you're pretty much getting a character development no matter what.
Okay. I mean, if you're in the wedding party, you'll be in getting named the best man.
Okay, so let's use the Kitty Colossus example because that's the one I think you're referencing, or you're either referencing that or Batman. I can't remember. In the Kitty Colossus example, Kitty got a character development for leaving Colossus at the altar. Colossus got a character development for getting left at the altar. And I don't think I managed to achieve this, but I was arguing for Magic getting character development because I argued that scene right before the wedding is what led to Kitty leaving. So Magic would have got a character development for making Kitty realize she was not meant for Peter.
I think it's a little bit of a stretch because it didn't happen immediately before.
Yeah, and it was never specifically addressed. They didn't give it to me, but I felt like that could have been. There was at least an argument there, if not an argument you could win.
And let's not forget the Gambit wedding at the wedding.
Oh yeah, they stole the wedding. Him and Rogue. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like in real life, Kia, what do you think? What do you think of this scenario? We're gonna spell it out for you.
Okay.
So two people are due to get married. One person at the wedding decides at the very moment that the ring is about to be put on the finger, nah, right? The way it happened in the comic, she used her phasing ability to not allow the ring to be put on her finger, which is really fucked up. But then she leaves the wedding, and then what's his name, Cyclops? Oh, not Cyclops. Sorry, Colossus is so embarrassed by what happens that he wants to leave, and Nightcrawler uses his teleportation ability to make Colossus leave. So both the bride and the groom have both disappeared at the wedding, and two people in the wedding party who had just kind of had a heart-to-heart decide, I mean, while everybody's here, I mean, there's a guy ready to marry somebody. Let's us get married. Faux pas or no?
Actually, I saw that in a movie, and you know what? As a person who is cheap, if I could do that at somebody's wedding, I totally would. I'd be like, well, I didn't even pay for all this too. Yep. Bring out the cake. Bring out the cake.
So I feel like if I was a guest at the wedding, while I would be happy that it happened, I'd still be a little creeped out because like the real bride and groom had such a sort of traumatic breakup.
Well, I mean, I'd feel bad for them, right? But at the end of the day, you're all there. You're all dressed up. There's going to be food that's going to be like, I'm like, they're not getting this money back. Yeah, it started already. So the best thing to do is like to take the open bar and all that good food and that cake, and you eat it and you party like the night is not going to stop.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So you just go ahead with the wedding reception. You decide to like, you just proceed as if they're the new bride and groom. Like,
yeah, and then and talk a little shit about how aw damn, this is real life stuff right here. You got to be sure before you get married. Got to make sure that this is the right person for you.
Like, it would be super awkward for, let's say, Kitty's parents. But think about how rare the X-Men are all together in one room for a joyous occasion.
I feel you. I mean,
wait,
the X-Men do it and then just ask Kitty's parents to leave.
Yeah, well, I like honestly, okay, if I was Kitty, I'd be a little pissed that my parents stayed. Like, okay, like you're like, I'd be like, that's where like the parents kind of exit, and you're like, this shit, if they
like,
stay and they
party, like fawning over Wolverine. She's like, oh man, my daughter always talks about you.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, if my mom started like trying to like hook me up, like I stayed to try to find you a new man. Like, okay, I might not hate her as much, but they better not just be out there getting lit and be like, well, like this is what it is. Like while I'm over here like literally going through a crisis.
Not a crisis though, because she left the wedding. She was like, I'm not ready for this. Whoop.
Yeah, like I need my mom to be like, it's all right. Everything's going to be okay. Now go there getting litty with Wolverine. Fuck that.
I feel that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would definitely take advantage of the open bar. I'm not sure if I'd go like all in with like, cha-cha slide and everything else that people do at the wedding,
I better not get video of that shit. That'd be best.
That would be hilarious if the wedding photographer's like, look, man, they paid me. I got pictures to take.
That would be funny. Here's a video of the wedding that you did not have.
What was your question, Shaun?
Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde. Intangibility and teleport powers?
What do you mean? In the wedding?
In the wedding.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, okay. I just wasn't, because that is absolutely, especially with Kitty Pryde going intangible, that's such a key moment in that story. You can't count that.
Right there, guys. No, the real question, Shaun, is does Kitty get a defeat antagonist?
Yes.
No, Colossus has to somehow break her heart, and then he gets to defeat the antagonist because.
Whoa, that's a little sexist there, Shaun. I think that she does.
Yeah, I feel like
He doesn't get to be the hero in the story.
She did. Oh my God, that's like the feminist hero of every story. Oh my God, she took the reins of her life, realized that it wasn't for her, did a strong woman thing, and walked
That is
away.
great, but if there's a hero and a villain in the story, in the context of
He's
the story,
obviously the
it's the
villain.
man who got his heart broken at the altar.
It's his fault. He obviously gave her enough of the heebie-jeebies that she had to leave.
Yeah, and she should have left in a way that didn't create a, let's call it a battle at the altar.
That's why I'm saying that.
Well, I mean, and she had to use her powers too. Like, I think this about her.
To escape.
Yeah, and then not to put the ring on, right? Didn't she like do some weirdness to like not put the ring on too? Like, come on. I think
I'm not saying Kitty's a bad guy. I'm saying in the situation created, the essential battle at the altar, where Kitty is leaving Colossus, if you were to pick a protagonist antagonist,
I feel you. I mean, you know,
Kitty fits the antagonist role more than Colossus does in that moment. Outside of it, I'm Team Kitty all the way. Fuck Colossus. I hate Colossus. But in that moment, she's the antagonist.
I like Colossus. I'm just arguing for the points. I'm arguing for the fact that he was properly defeated in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give a defeat antagonist. That just seems cruel.
Of all the ways to get left at the altar, actually going to put the ring on and have the ring not go on her finger, that's pretty up there.
That's pretty awesome.
There are ways, like, things can end, yes, but the ways in which you end things can make you very, very evil.
Yeah.
And Kitty Pryde's indecision made her the antagonist there.
Yeah, like
I don't think that made her. I think that like think about all the years in which women were forced to marry men, and here it is. She finally she got to flex. She got to like do her thing. She got to actually have a choice in the matter, and she chose. Yes, it might have been a little late, but you know, like when you're actually looking at that person's looking at you, and you realize, ah, shit, I'm making a motherfucking mistake. I gotta get out of here. That's
She's
strong.
in love with her sister, is who she's in love with.
Maybe it has not been confirmed.
I mean, it's either magic or rape.
So wait, time out. She was in love with the sister. Wait, so that means that she really stood for what she did, and she, like, oh, LGBT community, what's up? Like, I mean, come on, that's strong to realize that not only you're not in love with Colossus, but that you also love a woman.
That is just subtext. It was never explicitly said.
And the sister was the one that had the conversation with her the night before that said,
what kind of conversation did they have? That's my question.
Conversation that was like, if you're sure, make sure you're sure about what you're planning to do tomorrow. Don't want to make a mistake.
See, that's even stronger. Oh, she definitely gets the point. I don't care what Shaun's saying. Right now, she gets the point.
Forever, but she doesn't get to defeat the antagonist, because I'd say...
Well, you and I have different definitions of antagonists. I think anyone you defeat is an antagonist. Now, you may not have known about this, but one of your characters, Catwoman, left Batman at the altar last year as well. That
was just a smart move. I mean, seriously, a guy playing with his toys as a grown man.
You gotta get the prenup first. Get the money and then get out.
Oh yeah, that is true. But he probably was like such a douche. He's probably like, hey, prenup, Catwoman.
No, it was a little sad. It was sad. She left him a note.
See, that was nice of her. Because I would have just ghosted. I would have been like, oh, I fell off a cliff. I don't know where I am.
Well, that's the thing.
Where am I?
They're supposed to get married on one of the rooftops in Gotham, as they often do.
Oh my God. So wait, he has all that money and he wanted to stay in Gotham and get married? That's a douche move too.
I mean, it was a place that they've met.
Okay. And like, But he has all that money, and we're getting married in Gotham. Like, I would double check. I would think about that again. I'd be like, oh my god, he's really obsessed with Gotham. Like, seriously, we're gonna get married, and this is it. Like, you have all this money, and we're not doing any traveling. Oh, you can't take a vacation. Oh, because Joker's back in town. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, to be fair, they went on like an extended like pre-honeymoon beforehand.
Where the city next to Gotham? What is that, like Center City?
They went to Bloodhaven.
Oh wow. Well, they got back together, but now I don't know. What would you say the status of their relationship is since she emptied out all of his accounts and gave them to the Joker? Shaun.
Oh, that. Ooh.
They still together, you know. Bruce has been through some shit. I mean, do you remember? Did you ever read Grant Morrison's Batman?
Which run would that have been?
This is the run before Batman Inc. So it's leading up to Batman Inc. I don't think he's died yet, but it was like Batman was dating Vicky Vale, and then Vicky Vale like shot him up with military grade hallucinogenics. And then Batman was like, I'm Batman. I know everything. I planned for this. I've actually bonded with the drugs in my system to become stronger. But like Vicky Vale threw some ugly ass shit at Bruce Wayne. And he was just like, I knew this was coming. I'm going to roll with it and be stronger. Like, Batman's so crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah, Batman gets written in such a way that it's...
I would say him and Catwoman are still good, though. He's probably like, yeah, you know what? It's money. You know, I can get money again.
Catwoman, I think, if I remember correctly, like I think this week, did she get like maybe 2 to 6 points or something like that?
So in the first week, she got you 8 points. She actually appeared in this past week, but she's due to appear. She's going to have to answer for her crimes in the Joker War for basically bankrolling Joker now. Now, to be fair, it wasn't, you know, she thought she was doing it to save someone's life. Was it Lucius Fox's life, Shaun?
I'm smoking.
Oh, we lost Shaun for a second.
Did he say he was smoking?
Oh, okay. Is that what it was? Sorry, people. No sponsors, no smoking sponsors. But
or you could just be like, e-cigarettes, the best. Sponsorship.
So was it Lucius Fox that Catwoman was trying to save the life of?
This was in the first week?
No, when she emptied out Bruce's accounts for Joker War.
Which was in the first week. Like, this isn't the first week of August. This was the last week of July you're talking about, right?
I believe so, yes.
I didn't read any of the comics that week, except to like confer with the points you were uncertain about. So I have no idea. I'm jumping in completely blind to basically everything DC right now.
All right. Well, I mean,
I'm completely blind about comics. Yeah. Hey, Shaun. Hey.
Well, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you reading some comics. We promise. But
I am. I'm reading, guys. I mean, but it's hard to like, you know, it's like I don't know if I want to read and jinx it because I feel like my no knowledge is helping me win.
I mean, you can't argue with the results.
Yeah.
Your man Deadpool finally showed up this week with putting up 16 points.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's my man.
Like Deadpool is like a 1 character appearance, maybe 2 this month. But if he's putting up 16 points every time he appears, you know.
Well, I think he showed up in 2 books, right? He showed up in Strike Force as well.
Oh, then that's both of his appearances probably this month.
So it was Deadpool and Strike Force, but you know how Wade is. Wade can just pop up anywhere now.
I really feel like Deadpool is like the superhero version of me, like in terms of personality. Like things he says, things he does, like I feel like that's me.
Yeah, and, you know, and that's another reason that he's a good fit for the multiracial delegation, I think.
Exactly. Suck on that, S.
Oh, the hilarity of it all. Another major player who I think is going to continue to score for you is Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
Yes, which Captain Marvel was picked like way down there.
Way too late, the 5th round.
Way too late. Like, I was actually really surprised that I got Captain Marvel. And, like, nobody was even thinking about Captain Marvel. Yeah. Shaun, what happened?
Why would I be going after white people?
I mean, like...
I guess she's technically an alien. I could have just whitewashed that alien DNA out of her.
That's true.
I mean, she's got like I like to speak to the manager haircut. I just feel like she'd be Karen Danvers, and it'd be very easy to pull off.
But, like, I mean, like, point-wise, like, I was just really surprised. Like, that's a big name. Kids dress up like her for Halloween. Like...
Honestly, I thought, like, if you had just, like, given what I understand of the teams, like, I'm going to say I know about 6 to 8 characters on each team. I would have thought Carol would have been on the Latin team. It just seems like that would be where she would have naturally fallen much earlier than 5th round.
But you see, they wanted Black Panther really bad.
Well, they made a mistake because Carol is far better than Black Panther when it comes to the FCL purpose.
Right. I mean, he's a more popular character, especially among Black people. But Carol's moving up in the world. She's moving up in the world. There was some news this past week. We don't normally cover a bunch of comic news, but there was a new director for the Captain Marvel sequel who was named Nia DaCosta, right? Nia DaCosta.
Yeah.
She is a Black woman, and she will be directing the reboot / remake of Candyman. She's an up-and-coming filmmaker, and a lot of people are enthusiastic about her, and that means a lot of people are going to be enthusiastic about Captain Marvel.
And I just want to point out, too, she's also very beautiful. Like, don't just say Black woman. A beautiful, beautiful Black woman.
That is...
Like, recognize.
And this just goes to show that Captain Marvel, even though she's not her, in traditionally in the comics, Black, there could potentially be some affinity there.
Do you know what Roberto DaCosta's mom's name is?
I do not.
It's Nina. I was like, it's Nia. I was pretty sure it was Nia. It's Nina with an N. But that is crazy how close their names are.
And of course, the real villain of the racial draft, Tamati, took Sunspot from us.
Man, I wanted Sunspot so bad. If he had one guaranteed appearance, I would have drafted him in like round 2. It wouldn't have been Blade. It would have been Sunspot.
I like how Tamati played the villain because he was pretending to be just like the good guy that just loved everybody. But I saw you, Tamati. I see who you are. The villain. I see you. I saw you.
A Sunspot backstory?
No, we never got a Sunspot backstory. We didn't.
Lacking. I can't believe there was no backstory.
You can't take one of the best characters in the universe and not give him a great backstory.
I guess we're gonna have to call Tamati out on that.
Yeah.
I'll do the honors since I feel like I really put in a lot of effort with the backstories. I feel like I should be the one to call Tamati out on that one.
Who among us wouldn't do a backstory, right?
Yeah, crazy.
I know. But
Shaun says nothing. Shaun's like,
we do have you on the spot. Did you give us a backstory for your 12th round pick, your Barbara Gordon, or is she just the same? I guess she's just the same because she's already white.
So I do have a backstory. Let me give you my backstory. It's largely salvaged from the Cassandra Cain backstory. But, so, we got the Bat family, right? Rich Asian guy. It's got a white son. It's got Asian sons. We don't know what Tim looks like. We don't know what Jason looks like. Cassandra Cain's still Asian. Barbara Gordon joins the family and is so honored to be there. And then a horrible incident happens to her, and it paralyzes her. And she starts to internalize that hatred towards the Bat family. Save for one of them, the only other white kid, Damien who she takes over to the white delegation team that has now formed because she is the 12th pick that brings the team together.
Wait, so she's not cool with Dick?
Oh no, she hates
How could
Dick.
she not be
And
cool with
Ian
Dick?
just idolizes Dick. Ian loves him. And
Wow,
she was
idolizing Dick.
and she goes, boy, that boy is gonna break your heart. Let me get you the fuck out of
Most
this
dicks do.
Everybody knows Babs and Dick are meant to be, and you're not going to break up that happy ship. I'm not gonna allow you to have the shippers come after us. Dick and Babs forever. And
You just say my favorite word.
Yeah.
I'm so inappropriate. I'm so sorry, Racial Podcast.
I mean,
my dream book, Peter
It's a lot of Dick.
It's Dick, it's Babs, and it's Damien. And it's Dick and Barbara finally coming together as a relationship. Well, Dick and Damien are out on the streets again as Nightwing and Robin.
But do we really?
Even though he just quit the Robin identity, that's what he's doing. So I want Nightwing and Firebird, which are the original, like Nightwing and Firebird are the Kryptonian heroes that Dick Grayson took Nightwing from. Mm-hmm. So give Firebird to Damien, make them a crime-fighting duo again, put them out on the streets, and then Dick and Barbara are getting back together relationship-wise, and Barbara's got like her own main plot going on that will tie into the book and draw them all together if it's like a 12-issue thing, kind of thing.
That's what makes even more sense than that. A lot of people have been saying that Cassandra Cain should become Batgirl. What if Babs becomes Firebird since she's already affiliated with the Birds of Prey?
Ooh.
So now you get Nightwing and Firebird, Dick and Babs together as a tandem.
I would love that. Anything that puts the two of those in a book together is fucking amazing. If you add Damien in as the little brother, almost like, I don't want to call him the son, but that would essentially be the role he would fill. That would be the best fucking DC title.
He's the little brother. But, you know, you went ahead and captured, two Bat family members under the white delegation. And I like our racially diverse Bat family. I'm a little bummed that no one got Jason Todd.
Jason Todd and Tim Drake are right out there. Like, I really wanted Cassandra Cain. I'm cool. I got Barbara. She'll appear more. But like Cassandra Cain, her mother was protector to Racial Ghul. You know how easy it is to tie Cassandra Cain and Damian Wayne together?
True.
Their bloodlines are connected. They could not know. She could unwillingly be like Damian's older sister / bodyguard.
Oh, because you're just thinking,
unaware that she was bred for this very purpose.
Because you're thinking that Ra's al Ghul was slinging the Ra's al D. I got it. I figured I'd get a laugh out of you, Kia. Well, you're letting me down.
Sorry, I was on mute and laughing. So I was like,
but yes. So, I mean, let's talk about, I'm sure you have the projections in front of you. Like, so what are your thoughts about what lies ahead in week 3, Shaun, from a fantasy comics perspective?
Hold on. Let me actually pull up. I don't have the coming week up, but I can get that in 1 second. First off, let me give you this brilliant site that you're going to love for tracking purposes. It's called leagueofcomicgeeks.com.
Okay.
They do comics week by week. It's a customizable thing. So you could have it that's only showing Marvel. You could have only Marvel and DC. And you can just go week by week and track everything and appearances and stuff. That's what I use to make the solicits.
Okay.
It's a great tool.
And also, while you're plugging sites, why don't you plug again your site?
The fantasycomicleague.com. Your source for all things fantasy. That's not true. You're now a source of Fantasy Comic League. We used to be Mixed Marvel Arts, and our plug was your source for all things Marvel, entertainment, news, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to make that work for the new one, but it doesn't.
It's a pretty strong source for all things fantasy and comics. I think. But
Man, I'm sad Batwoman didn't get drafted. She's about to kick ass.
I know the Jewish delegation just kind of let her sit out there. I mean, she's still Jewish.
Wait, I picked Catwoman over
Batwoman.
Batwoman?
You did, but I think that's a smart move. What do you think, Shaun?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Catwoman has her own book still, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that is true. I think that was actually one of the points in which why I picked Catwoman, because of the books.
Yeah, Batwoman is featured pretty highly in Detective Comics, but she doesn't have her own book. And who knows what they're going to do with Batwoman now that they've ridden her out of her own television show. What a big disrespectful move.
You know what pisses me off? If they were going to write her out and replace her with a black woman, the entire Fox family is right fucking there.
Tiffany Fox would have been awesome.
Yeah. We talk about Tamara Fox in this house. She was in Red Robin before DC relaunched, and she helped Tim Drake take down the League of Assassins. She should be their Batgirl.
Well, not Batgirl, it would be Batwoman, though.
See, yeah, Batwoman, yeah. But yeah, Tamara Fox, like, she had a great history, and then they relaunched as the New 52, and they just erased her. And now they showed one possible Fox being a Batgirl in the future, and it was Tiffany, and I was like, no, Tamara's right there. Tiffany, nobody's ever talked about Tiffany before. Why are you ignoring Tamara?
Well, knowing DC, she's probably Tiffany Tamara Fox, and it's actually the same character.
But Tamara could be Batwoman and Tiffany could be Batgirl.
Sure.
I mean, that would be a Batwoman Batgirl title and led by women of color. That could sell like fire.
I think that,
Yes.
Because one of the issues as someone who actually watched the Batwoman show is that storytelling is so focused on the Waynes and the Kanes that to replace the lead with someone who has no connection to either of them seems odd to me, when, like you said, the Fox family's right there. Their history is interwoven with that of the Waynes, and it would be an easy transition from Wayne family drama to Fox family drama. And all the existing characters that are still friends with Luke Fox can be friends with Luke Fox as he begrudgingly backs up his estranged sister. CW perspective, their story right there. But like I said,
and not only that, but then imagine Black Lightning, right? Is like, he's not a poor superhero, but he's like a street superhero. Yeah, and then you would have a superhero, and they like, if you did a crossover between Black Lightning and Batwoman with the Fox family.
I
have to ask you guys a question about Black Lightning. Like, have you guys watched the actual show?
Yeah, I've watched every episode.
What do you guys think of that? Like, I was trying to get into it, and I thought it was a little I don't know. Maybe I was underwhelmed, I guess.
You want to watch it from the beginning, or were you just jumping in?
Yeah, I watched it. I tried to binge. That's what I do.
I mean,
yeah, and I was just underwhelmed.
I like it overall, but sometimes it takes makes some weird choices. I think it does things differently than the average CW show, but I think it's still it's got its good points and its bad points. I think that while I like that it tries to be a really black show, sometimes it feels a little heavy-handed. Maybe a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of times it feels heavy-handed.
Are there any black producers on that show?
I mean, the showrunners are black. Well, sorry, now there's just one showrunner, but there used to be 2 black showrunners who were married. But
okay.
I mean, they're black. They're blackity black, and I think that they filmed the show in Atlanta.
To make it black, because sorry, I got jokes about Atlanta.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that sometimes when they want to hit a theme, they hit it really hard. And you know, they've done some cool things in the later seasons. I think that the first season was a lot of table setting, and I think as they got a little bit of the green light, pardon the pun, for introducing more DC characters, they've opened up the world a little bit. But I don't know if they've done a great job of integrating it with the other comic book shows that they have on the CW, and I'd like to see maybe a little bit more of that. I'd love to see some of the black superhero characters show up on Black Lightning.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle between you two. I watched the first season and it wasn't for me. You know, I enjoyed it. As far as CW go, it's in the top 3.
Wait, Shaun, it wasn't for you?
The best character on that show for me was Tobias White. I fucking love that dude. He carried the show.
Tobias White.
Thank you, Mike. I was going there. Oh, okay. So the show wasn't for you, Shaun, and the best character was Tobias White, huh?
The reason it wasn't for me, though, is because it is a CW show. The CW DNA is still in it.
Here's where I'm going to blow.
And I don't have time for CW crap.
Here's where I'm going to blow your mind. The name.
I didn't hear what you said. You went quiet.
I said, here's where I'm going to blow your mind. His character's name is Tobias Whale. It's not
Whale, isn't?
Oh damn! Oh,
like the whole thing is he's the albino.
I know he's Tobias.
Oh, but you made him white, huh? You just made him.
Whatever. I mean, you appointed the white delegation well.
He's the white whale, and he uses a harpoon on his enemies when he beats them up. He's a big dude who's white, whose name is Tobias Whale. Yes, but no, I actually
okay, but hold on, because the way they were presenting him, he's white. They were like, he's an albino black dude, and I was like, I don't know what that.
No,
What is that?
He is being presented as a black man with albinism who hates black people. He is a black person who doesn't like other black people.
Oh my gosh. I mean, take away the whole his hate thing, but to date a guy really who's actually black but has albinism, oh my God. I have to put that on my bucket list. Ooh.
Yeah. I like him because of how ham-fisted he was and how he was the most ridiculous thing on the show that was trying to be really grounded.
It wasn't because of his last name.
No, it wasn't because of all the other things. No, but he was an entertaining character, and he like died and came back, and I was just like, I never knew what was gonna happen with the character. It was bizarre.
His distaste for black people is so palpable. It's amazing. It is delicious.
Thank you. That's it.
It is.
Thank you. Why would you say
it expanded? What other DC characters did they bring into it? Like, I'm curious, because like I know they set up like the Black Lightning family. But what other characters have been brought in?
So there's, a lot of the Black Lightning universe characters aren't big names, right? So, there's a character named Painkiller, who's big in the mythos. There's another character named the Tattooed Man. These are very, very minor characters who showed up. They did a version of the Outsiders in the most recent season. They fought against what's their country called? The fictitious Markovia.
Markovia.
There was a lot of Markovian metahumans in the most recent season. There's a character who's somewhat inspired by Geoforce in the most recent season. I would say, I would say from a comic book show perspective, another thing they did in the later seasons is they really upped the fight choreography, so the action scenes are a lot better than what they were when the show first started. Another thing that I really liked about the show, where it was maybe unintentional, is the actress who plays Thunder, Anissa.
That's the older sister.
She's not a good actress, but her character is such a fuckboy that it's so entertaining to watch her like just rack up points. Like, she's just racking up points with all the women. And it's always good to see messiness on the superhero shows. and to have a character who's not afraid to, get into messy drama.
I have a quick question. Has anything come out of, not to like totally segue, but you said messy characters, and I thought my first thought was Jessica Jones.
Uh-huh.
Like, is anything going on with Jessica Jones right now out there in the comic sphere?
Kind of quiet right now. I mean, she had the solo book that was really good. High recommend from Kelly Thompson if you can access the trade paperback for that. I mean, but right now, not a lot from Luke, not a lot from Jessica.
Luke is in Avengers right now. Not the main book, but Empire.
Empire. That doesn't really count. He's not in an ongoing. He's just
but he's at least showing up. Like, he's getting more than Jessica is right now.
Yeah. But as often is when it's a couple that's raising a child, they can always write her out as, well, she's taking care of the baby. That's why we don't see her. Maybe she often shows up at randomly at when Carol Danvers puts together a random party or hangout with her girlfriends. As a matter of fact, I think she did show up in an issue back in Captain Marvel with their girlfriend party. But that's usually it. Just hanging with the girls or take care of the baby. So yeah, that's Jessica Jones for you. So you were right to avoid her this season in the Fantasy Comics League.
Yes.
Speaking of characters that should not be avoided, let's talk a little bit about Superman. Shaun, you said you're not following the DC books very closely until recently. So, I mean, he's got books coming up this week, doesn't he? Shaun? Oh, I think we lost Shaun for a second.
Shaun's on mute.
Yeah, but he's not saying anything. So that's okay. We'll talk about Superman in a little bit. But yeah, Superman, Wolverine, and Doctor Strange are still going to be players, and I think that's not going to slow down. One character who I'm a little disappointed in is Thor, especially because of the fact that there's a big event happening. You would think that Thor would be playing a major role in it, but he's on a quest, aka just kicking it.
Well, I don't know. Sorry to swing back to Superman, but I know everybody loves Superman, right? Like, I feel like that's just a thing. But I don't know. I think that out of all the characters in the multiverses of multiverses of multiverses, I feel like Superman is kind of one-dimensional. Okay, he's super. Okay, he wears a cape. Okay, kryptonite. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I know everybody loves Superman, but I mean, really?
I mean, I wouldn't say people.
You didn't leave me while I was on my call.
What did you say? What did you say, Shaun?
You didn't hear anything. I was just saying I had to take another call while I was in here.
Oh no, not at all.
But no, I wouldn't say that people love Superman to the same level that they love Batman. I think that they respect Superman, and I think that respect for Superman as a good guy, in a very wholesome and endearing and inspiring way, is why he can show up in so many comics, because he's a foil for the characters that are a little bit more dirty. They look up.
Yeah, but I mean, aside from his backstory, okay, I got Sid so I can save, blah, 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 and what all this stuff, I just feel when is Superman gonna super duper leave and I don't know, just not come back? He does the same exact thing every single time. Or now, because everybody knows he's super and they don't have kryptonite or whatever, they're oh, he's just gonna be here and flex. Don't make me use my powers. It's kind of I don't know, I mean, how many times, just in TV, or movies alone, I mean, I think the last Superman that I think I saw, I forget who played him or whatever, was it Man of Steel or?
Yeah, it was Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, he did a great job. I like what they did with the film. It was a little bit different. I think it was a little bit darker or whatever. But like overall, like how many times in my lifetime am I going to see Superman redone?
I mean,
Probably at least 40 more times. Like seriously?
you're getting older, so like probably a lot. And because he's so foundational, he's the first major superhero. So when you want to talk about the superhero,
I gotta bounce for like probably 10 minutes. X's car died. I gotta go take her my car.
All right.
So I will be back in a bit, maybe. If you guys are still around, I'll let you know. I'll message you.
Thanks. All right, good. That was Shaun from the Fantasy Comics League. He has to leave to take care of personal business, but he was a great guest. And, we'll be happy to have him in future weeks.
Okay. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, going back to Superman, I hear you. But again, he's like the centerpiece, and he's not just the centerpiece of DC Comics. In a lot of ways, he's a centerpiece of comics kind of overall. And so there's a certain element that even people who aren't fans of comics know Superman. So it would be silly of Warner Brothers, DC, all the people who own his IP to not use him. Now he may not be centered and get as much exposure as some of the more popular characters. I can agree with that, but I think he's a staple. I think he's a character that a lot of other characters can sort of bounce off of and be a foil for, if not just as a kind of elder statesman.
Okay.
Like you have a character like Supergirl. Maybe I think that she kind of like is hurt a little bit because everything that she's doing, Superman has kind of already done. And I don't think they put as much time into kind of developing her story, maybe in a more modern lens. But I think there's still room to tell stories of Superman, and I think that people still want to be inspired, especially now, right? So they want to just like good, wholesome, great guy making great decisions out there in the world when there's people who are maybe a little bit more conflicted, or people who are a little bit more morally gray. And again, he doesn't have to be the man. I think Batman has already usurped him in that respect, as far as in most people's hearts. But
yeah,
he's the foil. If Batman is all about the complexity and the failings, or the frailty, we'll say, of the human spirit and relationship to trauma, we have Superman on the other side, who is basically about finding your best self. And I we've talked about this before in terms of it doing that racial draft, of having him be represented by someone other than a white guy, probably does make him, give him a little bit more depth. Because
I think so, by far. Yeah.
So
where he stands now in the real world. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, I mean, I think that's a reimagining that maybe some people would, I think it's a reimagining that people would embrace if it was the right casting. So I know some people have talked about Oscar Isaac. As Clark Kent / Superman. I mean, I think there are a lot of people that would be receptive to that. You could spin that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, you could spin that story fairly well to where he's not quote unquote threatening, but he's still he brings that additional layer.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I feel you on that.
I hear that. I mean, I know that a lot of people are sort of tired about Superman and want to see him step aside so that characters like Wonder Woman, for instance, can shine. But I don't think he needs to step aside right now. Wonder Woman is shining all on her own.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
So yeah, I mean, you have any other big picture comic thoughts that you want to get out while we're still here?
I mean, no, actually, I don't know. I feel like I really shared a lot today. Like, whoo, oh, I killed that. Not really, not anything that comes to my head right now, but
So I'm gonna throw
maybe.
out some questions for you then.
Oh God.
Right now, you're being carried by Wonder Woman, Captain America, Captain Marvel, and Deadpool. What about some of the other picks that you've made? Magneto, Mystique, Cable, Cyclops, Hal Jordan. Who in that group? Who would you like to see really make a strong push in the coming weeks?
Well, Magneto, Mystique. I really like. I don't know, like I think like Magneto's one of my favorite picks on my team. Um, I like that changed his background a little bit, but like I just really just if you just took it out of the racial draft and just like him as just a character in general, I don't know. I just like him. I like him. I like his focus. I like what he does, whether it's seen as good or bad, quote unquote. But I really want to see Magneto like just do some shit because I know he can. Like, and I just like kind of want to see him just like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, this is what I'm for. This is what I'm against, and I just want to, I just want to see him just mess up some shit.
Yeah, I mean,
like, because he takes kind of like a leader role, I think in a lot of his
messes a lot of shit up. Maybe in a different kind of way.
Yeah, like I want him to almost be a little reckless. Like I want him to like, I think he's very militant in how he like wrecks shit up. And I just kind of want to see him just like, F all this. Like, like just let it all out.
Well, I mean, the way the storylines are going right now, I don't necessarily see him doing that because of how prominent he is right now, and he's kind of getting his way. But there's some potential for upheaval in the coming months. So
Mm-hmm.
the question as to whether the time for fucking shit up will come within the parameters of our season, or whether it'll come
Yeah.
right
Well,
after.
also Mystique too, as well. Like I love the fact that she can take on other people's powers. Like, so I kind of want to see her, take on somebody else's character that has been drafted by other teams and be like, aha! I'd be like, who gets the points now?
Yeah, I feel like it would be fitting if Mystique were to, take on the persona of one of the top draft picks for.
Maybe like Batman. I'm sorry, I just think about points. I know that's not gonna happen, but
like if she took on the persona of like Professor X, or
or maybe even Wolverine. Take Wolverine. Haha.
that would be kind of cool. You'd get
That would
all
be awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we're probably reason enough to start closing it down. Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, I just want to say to, those that don't know comics well, like myself, but, interested or, just you can win. You can do it. I mean, I am living proof. It can be done. You can smack the crap out of every other team with less knowledge, like I have. But I also want to say though that, but out of all the other teams though, the Jewish team has done a terrific job, led by Annie, and I feel like really Annie is the only competition I really have in this whole racial draft, and that's because she just she's amazing, absolutely amazing.
All right. I mean, I let you have more, and I look forward to the Jewish team making up the 149-point deficit and giving you, I see 147-point deficit, and your money.
That's low shade. I want to point that out. Little shade right there. But you know what, Annie? It can happen. And you are the only competition I see. Hear that, rest of the other teams that are in here. Okay. Annie is my only competition. And it's competition with love.
Well, with that, we're going to close it down. It's a little bit short of an episode. Looking forward, we've got some things brewing with regard to some of the past storylines. We're going to be doing a couple of deep dives in the Marvel world in the coming weeks. We're going to talk a lot about the Secret Wars event from 2015. We're going to talk a little bit about Civil War, we think, is going to be the first one we're going to discuss. So next week, get your reading in. We're going to talk mainly about the 2015 Battle World, Civil War world in Secret Wars, but we will talk a little bit about the original Civil War event from 2007. So hopefully you can put on your imagination caps and think about how these stories would play out with these characters in their drafted forms. But from this week until next week, all things are possible.